It turns out that one of the most impressive fights and sequences from Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness came directly from Marvel Studios head Kevin Feige, who was sitting down with the composer Danny Elfman to try to nail down the look and feel and just how exactly a musical battle of notes would work. So this comes at us exclusively from Marvel, who got to talk to the composer Danny Elfman, who of course composed Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but along with that, of course, previous Marvel films, and he already has a working association with Sam Raimi. And he specifically wanted to talk a little bit about the variant fight where Doctor Strange enters the Sanctum Sanctorum in one of the multiverses, and how they were going to approach a very different style of fight. And he says that when they were working on the project, there was ideas to be able to use music in an interesting way and an interesting fight that could look somewhat different than your standard good guy versus bad guy scenario. And he reveals that in the early scripts, the idea was always there, that notes fly off the pages and that was it. But when they started to work on the composition, they figured maybe we could do something like play a couple of notes. And then Kevin Feige came in and he started to look at it, and it was a last minute change where he said, let's simplify this. We are going to use Bach and Beethoven, and we're going to have them battle it out in terms of music. We're going to use that type of rivalry. We're going to use that as a basis to the sounds, and the actual fight isn't just going to be musical notes flying around while the music is playing. It's in fact going to be them fighting each other with the musical notes, and the notes are creating the actual pieces of music. So once he came up with that, and once they sat down and started to look at the sequence, that it all just came together effortlessly, he pretty much puts it. Like, it made sense in terms of what they were going for the moment they tried to visualize. And he also reveals that there were some versions of this where it just didn't work. Essentially, the musical notes were just making hit noises and things just, it didn't end up being as good as it did in the final cut of the film. Instead, it was just more of a basic fight, and instead of the musical notes doing anything like playing music and them actually throwing musical pieces at each other and having a cool sequence, it just kind of looked like a barrage of flying notes, and that was it, like almost no life to it. So it's pretty cool to see how even this late in the production, when they were finally nailing down the soundtrack, they still didn't have the sequence. Then you have Kevin Feige come in there and go, let's try this thing I have in my head, and suddenly it works. And certainly I think it's one of those pieces of content that sticks out, and you just look at it and you go, yeah, okay, that's different than anything we've seen before from this franchise. It definitely sticks out when you think about it.